Okay, my name is Javina. I'm a recovered addict.
Javina.
Hi, it's a pleasure to, it's my duty to be here today, I think, more so than just the pleasure. My responsibility that someone passed down to me, or that happened to me actually, because like when I first came in, yeah, and I've got to be honest, is all I saw is, I don't want to smoke crack and heroin. Don't want it. But there was some sort of sense in my head as well that I kind of thought that was the bad thing and these consequences, but maybe if I get rid of them, I'll be able to have a little half a lump of lime at Wetherspoons, yeah, maybe a cheeky little gram of cocaine, yeah, and I think that was the first part, is that work that woman who was recovered did for me was to smash that illusion or delusion that I could be like my fellows, meaning the hard drinkers, meaning the moderate, like my mum, like my cousin, like my friend Jane. You're going to hear this lady Jane as well quite a bit in that, because she's really important in my path to here. Yeah, so it's my responsibility, and something happened to me that I wanted to come in and get rid of this drinking or using problem, which I thought was just a drinking and using problem. Now I know the problem is that with every desire in me, even when I want to, even with the consequences, even with my mum crying, even with the loss of jobs and loss of partners and loss of kids even, yeah, I sometimes stop using, but inevitably I'll pick up crack cocaine and heroin again. Maybe even a lager at first, yeah, but then I'm always using, you know, and I just wanted that to stop, yeah, permanently. That was why I came here. And something amazing happened to me where it wasn't about me anymore. And I had this new purpose and this alternative life that was given to me. It hit me in my heart, yeah, it hit me in my gut. And I was just, you're going to hear terminology of the big book and stuff, but I was rocketed somewhere. It was like someone put a little booster engine on my skateboard and it was just like, poof, yeah. And I was at destination after destination with this book, not this big, the small one, and sitting down with another lady, yeah, because I find that important. It's up to everyone, but I work with females, and I sat down with a female and heard her experience. I shared my experiences of these struggles to stay stopped, and I shared my experience of this mental inconsistency that comes into my mind every time I've got away from the using. So I'm away from the crack and that, yeah? And I'm amazed that I'm able to sit there, a hopeless addict. Now, I weren't a sometime-ish addict or a alright, yeah, like a housewife addict. I was hopeless gutter, crack dens, gangs, prostitution, sex trafficking, domestic violence, addict, crack smoking addict. I would do anything, push my nan ill in a wheelchair, take her to the bank, hold her hand and sign it. I was that addict, yeah. And I didn't start off like that. You know, I started off with an all right life, yeah, and I say this, and that's going to be a variation. Some people in here might not have had that, yeah, I get that, yeah. And I started using, and I only started using because I was really curious, yeah. I'd see these people in nightclubs, yeah, this little pub and that, and they'll be popping these little, what I thought was little sweeties and that, but then they'll be crawling on the floor or jumping up and down, like, you know, and being able to drink a lot. And I was like, fucking hell, man, that's kind of cool. Yeah, let me see how this goes and that. So I weren't using to, it's still changing a feeling because I wanted to up the good feeling that I already had. There's going to be people here that was definitely trying to make themselves feel better. That was the reason for me starting to use. What I found now is there's a difference from that to why I relapsed. There's a big difference. Yeah, but the first part, what happened to me is I lost control. Yeah, like I started having a couple of pills and a Jack Daniels, maybe another, and then not liking it and being like, fuck, that come down's like shit. And being able to keep to that for a period of time. And then I felt I needed more. So the lack of control that I had around that and the intervals that I had where I thought I could control it always followed by still less control, yeah? Which led to me not wanting to do it anymore. And this is the start of, for me, where relapse came in, it was involved, yeah. I took these pills and I was a competitive little addict, yeah. These guys were taking 15 and I was like, right, mate, yeah, single out me, I'm a female, I'm going to pop 25, mate, see how that goes, yeah. And I popped these 25 and I was up on the top of this pub in a lock-in, singing I Believe I Can Fly at the edge of this roof, and my friend pulled me back. And after that, looking crap, being in a place that I didn't know, surrounded by guys, seeing half-naked females and me like trousers hanging off and that, like, I can't do this again. Done. Yeah, because it interrupted my work. My mum wanted to know where I was. I felt like I was losing my morals, that I felt that all of us have probably got, yeah, I believe that, you know, we're good people, yeah. And that was the day that I said, no more. Done, man. That ain't happening. I'm not going down like that. And do you know what came to my mind? My dad, he was an addict, yeah. And I used to think, how the hell can you not stop, yeah, when you love me so much? And I said, I'm not going down that route, even though I weren't smoking crack at that time. And so I put some fierce determination. And I think it's not a bad thing, yeah. It's not a silly thing to do. Bad pills, they were fucking amazing, but bad pills, bad experience, seeing my dad like that, I'm having a different life. And I went into this pathway, the drinking and the using stopped, and I went into this little mode of having about 3 months where I tried certain things to keep myself away. So I deleted people, I didn't go to this pub anymore. I ignored calls, deleted some numbers. I avoided certain ways, going to places, and I went into work. You know, I done extra hours, I kept myself busy, you know. I made sure on that on the Friday and that, I stayed close to the people that weren't like that, you know, which was really my family, like, you know. I thought I was alright, and I did. I felt better, looked better, no come down, earning some money, you know, life's pretty cool and that. This is what it should be about, yeah. And I remember leaving Marks and Spencer's where I was working, spent my money, that was another little plot, yeah. Went to Zara, spent all this money, travelling. I thought, do you know what? Just suddenly, nothing powerful, just go and have a cocktail. You know, that's all right, you know, it's not pills, it's all right, you'll be fine. And I had this cocktail. Within half an hour, I was ordering cocaine and that, a big amount of cocaine. And my idea was I'm going to sell it, so I'm not going to take that much. So probably we've all done that, innit? You know? But what then happened is I'm in this spree and I ain't got no money, and I'm in this spree and I ain't got no money, and I waited till the next morning and I was like, right, them clothes are going straight back to Zara. So I went back, got a refund, my grand back, made up some excuse, the clothes are fucked, your clothes are shit. Yeah, I want my money back. Yeah, and I spent that money again, yeah. So like, I'm back to square one, and I'm confused, I'm not at work again. All the things that I noticed in the beginning for me to stay stopped, and the things that I was doing in that moment where I stopped, yeah, not permanently, but I stopped, they didn't come to my mind, yeah. I couldn't think of that, didn't come in. It wasn't like, Javina, do you know what, you might be on the roof again and that, you nearly died and that, yeah, and you might be in that room all naked people and, you know, it's not cool. It didn't come to mind and that. But I kind of, after that, crying, my mum going, you're just a twat, yeah, you're being silly, pull yourself together, this is not how I raised you. And I was like, yeah, it's not. Yeah, I come from a good family, this is not how I'm going down, yeah. I kind of made sense of it, you know. I was like, right. Do you know what it is? I should have got the train. Yeah, I got the bus and that leads me right up into this pub and that, this bar and that. I should have got the train, it goes a different way down. So my next thing was that I'm travelling a different route. Now this cycle went on for ages and ages, over again. 2 weeks I would get away from it. I would set a new strategy, stay away. Mum's pissed me off, so it's my mum, so I'm not going to hang around with my mum. Yeah, she gets deleted, yeah, and the progression for me, found crack in that, man. Crack, I'm not gonna lie, crack was fucking amazing, bro. Like, it's like orgasm in your brain and that, yeah, and I'm like, loved it. But even in that type of beginning, that loving that so much, yeah, I couldn't even remember what crack was doing to my dad. And I saw my dad dying, yeah, from this, yeah. The only time when I saw it was when it stopped. That's when I remembered. That's when I was like, fuck, man, I'm smoking the thing that's killing my dad. I'm smoking the thing that took my dad away from looking after me. My hygiene's gone. My respect's gone. Because, you know, we've all done things, yeah, they're going to vary. I've done some really shady things, man, things that I said I'd never do. It's not happening to me, yeah. I grew up in an area seeing that at the forefront. What I like to do now is stand on that forefront to help people, but I'm seeing it going, I'm not going there. Yeah, so there's the change that I've had. It's just like, I'm going to that sordid place now to try and help them. But before, it's like, you're never going to be like them. Look at them shady crackheads, yeah? And it's so confusing to me as to why I would keep doing the thing, yeah? Why the thing that's devastating my life, I keep doing. Because we've got common sense in it, yeah? If I said to you, cross the road with a moving car and that, you ain't going to cross the bloody road, are you? Unless you really want to die. I wanted to die, but that was because I couldn't stay stopped permanently. I couldn't stop smoking crack even when I wanted to. There was no defense against that, yeah? If I come and take Carrie Ann's hand and put it in the fire right now, so her hand's going to naturally pull away and that. I'm going to know that it's hot. She's going to burn me. Pipe, poison, going to kill me, hurting my family. It will be different. I'll put it in a Rizla instead of the pipe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, what is that? I'm going to keep trying to make sense of this though, yeah? It's a normal thing to do. It's like, this is bad, so this is lip gloss, just to remind you, it's not crack. Hasn't got any red there. So this is lip gloss, and that's hurting me, yeah? That's crack. Javina, don't take it. If I don't have what this book was done for me in there, I'm going to pick it up and smoke that. I'm going to forget everything that I've said to you. I could forget that my home group needs me. I could forget that I've got to do service. I could forget that my mum's coming down in 3 weeks. I'm going to forget that my brother's coming down. I'm going to forget that there's a lady that I'm working with. That's what we're up against. Yeah, this absolute erasing of memory. Yeah, because if you look back in your experience and that, when you said you don't want to do it and it's freaking crippling you and it's eliminating your life and that, when you next have that thought to use and that, for anyone that's relapsing or being in and out right now, yeah, have you been able to think of the consequences? If you did, have they been enough to deter you? Or have you relapsed? Most of us, that's why we're here, right? Because no one's coming to a CA meeting if they ain't experiencing some sort of pain. Because listen, I'll be indoors watching Real Housewives. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah? Something got us here. The thing is, you're really lucky to be in a place like this. I say that, yeah, because I was really lucky at a meeting that I went to because they were talking about this relapsing. They were talking about the symptoms of a real addict and alcoholic, which are the memory, lack of willpower, and lack of sound reasoning. If you relapsing, repeatedly relapsing, whether you're in the meeting or out the meeting, and you've come in here, yeah, and you're confused and baffled and that, ask yourself that, do you have them symptoms? Most of you, to relapse, don't have them symptoms, yeah? You don't have a defense against the first one. Because if you could raise a defense, yeah, you don't need to be here. I need to be here. Yeah, when you first come in, you need to be here so you know what you're up against. Your predicament isn't your consequences. Your predicament is that you're going to forget that shit one day. You're going to forget the love of your kid. You're going to forget that you've just turned up to a CA meeting a week ago. Yeah, and I'll tell you one of these ones, yeah? When I got away from drugs, crack and that, I went to this Prince's Trust thing, yeah? People know Prince's Trust. I went Prince's Trust and they had this self-development program because obviously the problem's me. Yeah, and I hear this even in meetings, right, about the problem's me, so let me work on me, and it's a trauma that I've acquired at 5 years old. It's that I'm negative, my thinking's negative. Quite insane, but let's work on that. yeah? So I'd done this for 3 months, yeah? And I saw another lady that was sharing that had said she'd done the same things as me and she was well and that, yeah? And literally, I weren't using that anymore. And I had some purpose. I started working with young people. You know, I was like helping young offenders and I felt all right. And I left this workplace. I bumped into my friend, an old friend, and he's not an addict of our type, or relapser. He just has a little cheeky grand in West Ham pubs and that, yeah? A little pint. Sorry if you don't like West Ham, always apologise for this. And he said, how's everything? I said, absolutely amazing. And he said, you know what, man? We were saying, you're probably going to die in that, the way you're going. I'm like, I saw that, man. I would have died. If it weren't the drug, it was the places that I was getting, the things I was getting involved in. And I said, I'm different. I'm working for Prince Trust. And he was like, come on, man. Do you want to go to the pub? And I was like, well, I don't drink and that. He goes, that's all right. You have a J2O. So I said, cool, play some pool again. I'm all right. Walked in, had the J2O playing pool. And I see this guy on the phone. And I was like, oh, can you get me something? And he said, come on, man. You've just been telling me that you can't use and that. Like, you stopped and that. Oh, yeah, stupid little idea that, isn't it? So I did raise a defense. My mind thought of the consequences, not a stupid little idea. I've just been saying this is bad. Come on, man, you've got to work. You're working with young people. And literally, in about an hour, he reminded me, he said, do you want anything? And I said, yeah. And I got that repro shit, I say. Mm-hmm. And I had that gram, and then it led to an apes, and then it led back to the crack den that I've begged to get out of. You know, what sort of thinking dominates that kind of mind, man? It's insane. Yeah, it's insane for me to, at one point, be like, never doing it again. Forget everything that I've tried to keep myself away from that. Doesn't come into play at a certain time. It does not hold me. Because if it held me, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. You know, I wouldn't. I'm grateful for that now, though. Yeah, I'm totally grateful. You know, I'm not going to go into a hellish story, but my end result was nearly death, yeah? And for some reason, something aligned me into a CA meeting. And I wasn't told happy, joyous, and free hope stuff. I wasn't. Yeah, they were loving. What's your name? Well, here's a biscuit, yeah? And I know now that was the positioning they were trying to do, so they could just give me a little information. The information is like, how you feeling? Pretty shit and that. What's got you here? Oh, it's the crack, it's the rapes, it's the prostitution. Oh. They said, your journey is to see if you was an addict before that. Because I thought an addict was just you smoke crack and you have bad consequences. I suffered with this condition way before. They made me look back. I'd lost my willpower way before this. Yeah, this was apparent. I felt better. I remember saying to you, wasn't that? My sponsor, I was like, I feel great. Coming into a meeting 2 months, I feel great. I feel amazing. Mm-hmm. And she said, have you ever felt amazing before and smoked crack? And she just walked off. Yeah? And I was like, huh? That's what you're meant to do, feel amazing, isn't it? Happy, joyous, and free. And she said, look back, man. It doesn't matter how you're going to feel again. Yeah, you have to see that that's not an option for you, but you will do it again. Yeah, that was the first kind of thing. Crack and that is not an option. I don't want to do it, but with the condition that I suffer with, I am going to do it again. In that, I have to see that there's nothing that I can do with my own resources to prevent it, because let's all look at this and that. Is anything you've done stopped you from using? Is your swearing off? Is your promises? Is you avoiding places? Is you staying close to the good people that don't really use? Is it turning off your phone? Is it deleting it? Is it keeping busy? What's happened? At a certain time, has your mind gone to you, you'll be all right. Just have one. Or maybe even have loads, but do it in a different way, you know. I'm not going to start putting whiskey and milk and that, but I might think, crack's bag, let me have a bag of heroin. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Eat steak, have some in dizzle. Be different. Yeah? And put the dizzle in the Pepsi. And you're eating a steak, it's going to be different this time. It's never freaking different. And I know that in my heart, it's never different, but I'm confused of why I keep doing it. Yeah, there isn't anything I can personally do. That's my experience. You know, whether I need to try more things, no, I don't. It doesn't work. Yeah, that's the hardest thing probably to grasp. It's the first thing that we need to, but it is hard. It's just like, what are you telling me? I'm an able person, man. There's nothing I can do to stop smoking the crack. But there isn't. Because if there was, like I keep saying, I wouldn't be here. You know, and that put me in a position to take a process and that. And I say this, the stuff here works, yeah, this 12 step, it does. But through working with others, what I see is that I can go into this believing that this has something to do with preventing my relapse. And it isn't. You know, it's to put you and remove the things that's blocking you off from this another power. I call it another power because people say, God, I'm all right with the spiritual, but I call it another power, yeah? It's to get you connected, remove that stuff, break this illusion. This meeting's called the illusion of power, bruv. That's got to be broken. That's why no one's getting a start in their recovery. They're bouncing like yo-yos, in and out, bit of service, 3 months out. It's like, that has to be seen. Sometimes the relapse can persuade that, man. Crack's a big persuader, bag's a big persuader, drink is a big persuader, and that sometimes, like me, beat into the state of reasonability, yeah? Pretty mangled, and a bit easy to take that offer. But you don't have to get that way, man. You know, you don't. You know, in some of these illustrations in this book and that, they weren't that mangled. And they still got well, yeah? So yeah, I went on this process and that, and you know, I was saying to Dan again in the car and that, what has it done for me and that? Got new trainers, new jacket, yeah, life's great. Not something that I want to, or, you know, isn't the importance of this for me. You know, the change that I've had is that everything I do now, whether I make the tea or coffee, meet and greet, is because of someone else. You know, I remember that flip that I had as a meet and greet service, and I have to get there because who's going to greet that lady coming in? You know, who's going to give that person a hug? You know, and that's what's happened to me. Is I don't even know how it's happened. I can't explain that stuff, you know. Someone said to me, like, this is a spiritual illness and there's a spiritual solution. Well, let me say this, yeah? This is an unexplainable problem and an unexplainable solution. I can't make sense of this, man, let alone make sense of the solution. But all I know is that everything is for the next person. You know, I don't force that to happen. Yeah, I don't pray and meditate so my head stops popping off anymore. I wait to clear something so that I can get a little insight of where I need to go. Yeah, this meeting, maybe a share, I don't know. Maybe it's putting a poster. Maybe it's talking to a professional. Maybe it's helping my family even, you know, that's important, you know. I say this to you, and I hope, I hope that something's resonated, that you could go, do you know what, that's what I'm suffering, that's what's happening to me. If that's what's happening to you, then you're pretty fucked. Yeah. But, like me, you could have an alternative life, which is involving with a lot of purpose, which means that you might be sitting in a coffee shop with someone that was just like you, yeah? And sitting there going, look, man, let me talk about what you are up against, man, so I can help you. So maybe we don't hear these deaths that are going on, yeah? I mean, I think there's been 2, isn't there? You know, I remember that lad. He understood that. But there's so much information being talked about that has no relevance to what we're talking about. Because here's this, no one's remembering all that information that boy was given. He didn't remember that. In that one moment, the whole treatment that he got, all the meetings that he went to, in one moment he forgot that and he was dead. Yeah? There's nothing I could have done. There's nothing that he could have done about that. Only thing I say to you is sit down and really look at this book and that, really speak to that, Dwayne. Whoever is recovered in there, speak to them, go through that, ask questions. Don't be scared to say, no, actually, I think I've got some power over this, man. I think if I do this, I'm all right. Because they would dismantle that, trust me in that. I had to do that. I couldn't just be a yes. There was times when I had to ask my sponsor a question, but hang on a sec, though. She was like, well, let's look back again. The best thing is that moment that we get one-to-one and that, yeah? Don't think you've got time, because here's this and that, yeah? I asked this girl just recently, when's your next relapse? Yeah? Everybody was silent. When's your next relapse, man? When are you going to relapse next? I don't know. Cool, man. Could it be next week? Could it be tomorrow? Could it be in a month? Possibly, yeah. Cool, man. So that means you ain't got long. But we think we do because we come to the meetings each time. We think we're always going to have another time because I relapse, spree stops, pissed off, humiliated, back to the meeting. Again, back to the meeting. Again, what about when you don't come back? Or what about when you're out there for another 15 years? Yeah. And I know it's hard because people might be in different places and treatment and wherever they are. I'm just saying to you, man, the thing that I had to see is, or do, is listen to the person that was recovered and speak to them outside of the meeting. I'm truly grateful, yeah. I'm grateful. I'm absolutely amazed that, I can sit here and see a fellowship grow and that, yeah, and watch other people relieved of this problem. Because the problem is relapsing. And the serious cunningness of that is that illusion of power, man. It's just so subtle, man. We're going to think that we're okay. We're going to think that we're going to do something about this still. If I do a bit more prayer and meditation, if I do some more of this, and it ain't that. I hope if I came back in the 6 months that most of you would be here, man, working with others. But the reality for me, even in my home group, is in 3 years, we have 5 people that are originals. And I've seen already pockets and pockets and pockets and not coming back. But they're still out, but they're bouncing back. That's 5 in 3 years. Yeah, so there's something that's missing that we can do. We can if we sit amongst each other and talk to each other, man. I'm happy to do that with anyone. I know I said women to women, but I'm quite a tough woman, so I'm all right with you guys, yeah? But I can't sponsor you though, yeah? Yeah, man, hope, faith and courage, man. Meaning, purpose and value to me and that, yeah, that's what I've got today and that, and it only lies within working with others. And I think I'll leave it there, thank you.
Thank you.